Jorge Polanco had half the Mariners' hits and Bryce Miller barely got it done. But Torpedo bats have finally arrived in Seatown. Welcome to the Dom Skeen channel, your one-stop shop for the Mariners storylines on Seattle's minds. The Mariners beat the Rangers 5-3 on Friday night in the first of a weekend 3-game set. It's also the first of the season series against the division rival, who scraped into the playoffs over the Mariners by half a game in 2022 before going on to win their first World Series. Luckily, the Mariners jumped all over a few Jacob deGrom fastballs early to take the lead, which would last 7 innings. Jorge Polanco got the most perfectly timed pitch of the season so far as deGrom's 5th overall offering, a 95.7 mile an hour four-seam fastball middle in on the hands. The perfect storm of deGrom's velocity dip allowed Polanco to show off his shiny new Torpedo bat with a natural balanced left-handed swing in which he turned on the pitch abnormally quick. The biggest advantage in a Torpedo bat, which takes weight out of the handle and end and puts more weight into the barrel, is the ability to turn quickly and crush inside pitches, allowing players like Polanco to extend their hot zones from the outside and middle of the plate into their traditionally weakest areas inside. If you watched his swing last year, you can see him, as I call it on the golf course, swinging out of his socks. This is the tweak that caused him to disappoint for several years in Minnesota after his 2019 All-Star breakout campaign with the Twins. Specifically, after the 2020 60-game COVID year, his expected batting average only slightly dipped, and his expected slugging percentage went up a sizable amount. However, on the eye test alone, I've seen him so comfortable in the times he is emphasizing contact, and uncomfortable when taking power swings. He has natural line drive power and needs to keep slapping it into the outfield, where he will absolutely connect and unleash on fastballs occasionally, yet hit for incredible batting average as well. We saw how low the floor was last year, though, and it's hard to argue that this is a different player. I'll be fascinated to keep watching every one of Polo's at-bats and see how long he can keep his Baseball Savant page scorching red. The other question is if and when he'll be back to 100% healthy, because he's not right now, and can hit from the right side again too, because right now he's still a platoon DH due to injury. He can't swing from the right side. So once he can swing from the right side again, without being injured from that side, I would expect to see him playing every day and not just in a platoon. On the other hand, I want to shift to Bryce Miller's pitching performance last night. And I thought he pitched pretty well. It definitely wasn't his best or worst, going 5 innings and allowing a run. I thought he battled, kind of got into the counts, and wasted his pitch count at times just a little bit, kind of like a young Logan Gilbert. But I want to highlight the fact that he had 8 pitches in his arsenal that he threw. It's fascinating watching an originally premium fastball guy with questions about 2 or 3 other secondaries experiment with all sorts of pitches, throw 8 different pitches in one start, and still struggle to make anything incredibly deceptive other than the fastball itself. Tinkering is a good thing, but too much of anything can become bad. I want to be able to tell you that he got a ton of whiffs on something other than his fastball, but instead he got just a few. He got a ton of whiffs on his fastball and just a few out of a bunch of different pitches. So he had 8 whiffs on his four-seam fastball, which has always been his best pitch. Then he had 2 on the knuckle curve and splitter each, and 1 each on the sinker and the slider. He had also a sweeper with none, and maybe 1 more pitch with none. Anyway, throwing 8 pitches after originally being a guy, he's always been a guy with a great fastball, just trying to throw something else that's really good. And although he doesn't seem to be able to throw anything other than that four-seam fastball that's excellent, he's seeming to throw a lot of different pitches at an adept level. And overall, Miller's 14 swinging strikes on 100 pitches is incredible. And maybe the answer to Miller's secondary conundrum is the more pitches he has to choose from, the better. However, deGrom was even better on the other end, with 16 swinging strikes on just 87 pitches, proving that he is still elite and, in my opinion, still a top 5 starting pitcher in Major League Baseball, in spite of the velo dip and the few fastballs that Seattle crushed. The Mariners had 6 hits in total, and Jorge Polanco accounted for 3 of them, before being pinch ran for by Demo in the top of the 8th, after getting his final of them, a single off a middle outside splitter from Chris Martin. The Rangers had tied the game 3-3 by taking Trent Thornton deep the inning prior, as Josh Young caught a hold of a fastball of Thornton's by swinging first pitch. Raleigh stepped in, tied ball game, runner on first, and after taking one cutter, throwing him another directly after was a mistake. Cal saw all of it and unloaded on that very next pitch from Chris Martin, sending it into the Seattle sports sign on the second deck, and that would make the difference as the M's won 5-3 with a 251 XPA to the Rangers 209, despite the Mariners being out hit 8-6. And undoubtedly, clutch hitting is the story of the current 2 in a row that we have going for us. We're now 6-8 on the season as we face Kumar Rocker tonight, who was a prolific power pitcher coming out of Vanderbilt, but is now a slider sinker guy who tinkers with a 4-seam, change, curve, and cutter. And I feel similarly to Rocker as I do about Emerson Hancock in that regard. And we saw that experiment on our end, Emerson Hancock, look awful giving it a shot with him to start the year. So I'm confident we can crush the baseball. And I also want to make a new term for guys like Emerson Hancock, Kumar Rocker. I'm going to call these guys the sinker, slider, tinker guys. Almost like this sinker, slider, tinker, spy. Sinker, slider, tinker, spy, like the movie Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. I'm about to start using that. I know Nick Pollock, pitcher list, shout out to him. He has a billion acronyms for different types of pitchers, but I'm gonna decide exactly what I want to do with that one, and I'll let you guys know tomorrow. But he's a sinker, slider, tinker spy, sinker, slider, tinker guy. So I'm not super interested in Kumar Rocker from a fantasy perspective. I think we have a really good chance to crush him tonight. The sun is out in Seattle, not just literally, but also in that brighter days are ahead for the offense moving forward, with torpedo bats here to stay. It'll be interesting to see them in action tonight, again, alongside Brian Wu taking the ball. And I will see you all tomorrow to recap today. And I'm excited to announce the first major addition to my Every Game Counts series in tomorrow's video. I will see you all then. Go M's.